One day, a boy was playing outside with his Great Dane Bojack when it so happened that the dog started chasing his own tail. Bewildered by this bizarre but adorable sight, the young boy quickly rushed back into the house to inform his father about this rather silly happening. "Why is he doing that?" asked the boy, to which his father then responded simply, "Well, because he has hoped to catch it soon," said the dad. "But Dad, it's his tail. How is he possibly gonna catch it?" the boy asked again. "Well, would you rather he gives up on his hope to catch it, or you let him go on and believe he can?" answered the boy's father. "Well, I guess you're right. But isn't he going to feel sad when he realizes it's impossible to catch it?" "I guess so. But why not feel sad having tried, than to be sad and not try at all?" said the dad. The boy then looked up to his dad, who was staring far ahead at the mountains with a rather bittersweet smile on his face, although it didn't quite reach his eyes. The father then patted his son's shoulders and said, "Come on, soldier, let's get inside. He's got to eat and ready up for school tomorrow." The father went back into the house, but the boy decided to watch Bojack chase his tail until he finally gave up and lay down on his back, exhausted. "20 years later, the boy's father had gotten severely ill. His days were numbered and not much could be done to help his poor father, and so the boy spent his father's last few moments on this cold and cruel world very sad, bitter, and rather hopeless. It seemed that a nihilistic approach to life seemed more meaningful than to seek for any meaning to it at all. He would tend to his father all the time, and they'd have conversations about life and the complexities that come with it, until one day. "Dad," the boy called out to his father, who lay weak and poised on his soon-to-be deathbed. "Yes, dear," the father responded in a faint voice. It was almost as if the air in his windpipes had turned to dust. "Why do you even bother at this point?" asked the son. "Well, what I mean is, why are you ever smiling or laughing? Why is it that you still make an effort to visit church when you can, or tell family friends that you're fine and couldn't be better whenever they call? Why do you bother trying? Why lie to others, to yourself, when you know it's pointless?" asked the son. A grave silence consumed the room as the boy thought back on what he had just asked his poor father. Surely, could this be something to say to someone who needed the most support than anyone at the time? I'm very sorry, father. Please, for... No, boy," reassured the father in a rather serious tone. Though the son was surprised, it was as if for once his father was being honest with him for the first time in a while. No bullshit smiles, no forced happiness could be sensed in his voice. But still, the boy couldn't bring himself to feel happy about this, as he feared that he hurt his father's feelings severely. "Well, you see, my boy, it is no secret that I am very ill and could be close to dying at any point. But be not mistaken, I have lived a good life. Yes, indeed, I have lived a good life. And even if I were to die at this very moment, I have well long lived. I managed to meet and love your mother. She gave me the gift of taking care of you. And I have made many friends, and our family always comes to check upon us from time to time," said the father, in a rather proud voice. He looked to the ceiling. Through his pale blue eyes you could see soul. Although the man was dying, he looked just as alive on the inside. A smile formed in his face. It was the same smile as that which the boy had seen when his father looked far ahead to the mountains. "Yes, boy, I am one call away from death himself, but even yet, I will continue to smile and say all is well. I will continue to visit church and laugh with others. I will continue to be happy and happy around you and those I love. Why? Yes, because there's no point in trying to be optimistic in my current state, understandably so. But why not die having tried, than to die and not try at all?" asked the father. He smiled way harder this time, and a teardrop fell from his left eye. This time, the flame of fighting burned even wilder than ever before. Despite being a dying man, in that very moment, he truly was alive. About a month later, the boy's father had passed away, and from that day up until a very long time, the son still couldn't understand what his father meant. What the point in trying was, despite the outcome being inevitable, sadly so. The son would spend countless hours, days, months, and even many years trying to figure out what his father meant, trying to find the point in trying, the point in hope. This journey went on and on until the man had met with his father's good friend from many years ago. He had invited the boy to have a drink to catch up and check up on how he was dealing with the loss of his father. This man was a pastor. His name was Mark. "Say, it sure still makes a difference, hey?" asked Mark upon pouring a drink for the boy and himself. "It sure does," responded the son. Good old pal was ever smiling. Not once did I ever see that guy angry, sad, or needy. He was ever content with what he had. Say, such people like that are very hard to come by, aren't they? The boy took a swig of his drink. It burnt really well, and so he pushed the glass in front of him, gesturing for another pour. "Whoa now, easy pal," said Mark, scoffing. He poured him another drink. I couldn't agree more, you know? He was an anomaly, quite enigmatic to the human experience. I never got him. I still don't, and to be frank, I don't think I ever will. Ha! Scoffed Mark. Say, people like that are so frustrating, eh? It's almost as if they can't handle reality, ever trying to see the good in everything and everyone. Couldn't have said it better, Pastor, yelled the boy, raising his glass and gesturing for yet another drink. At this point, the orphan son was very drunk, and if it couldn't take his father's passing to break that stoic wall, then this 20% whiskey was for sure gonna be the sledgehammer to break it. He was hurting, and with every drink he took, a crack would appear on the wall he had built for himself. Say, boy, aren't you quite miserable yourself? Asked the pastor, after pouring yet another drink for the both of them. The boy gulped his drink down and asked for some more liquid courage. Well, I lost my old man. He was my hero. How can I not be? No, for sure. But what's truly tormenting you? You're still trying to figure him out, eh? The boy then asked for a drink again, and so the pastor poured another one for the both of them. Son, it hurt you how he'd never be honest with you or anyone around him. You just wanted him to say it as it was. You wanted the man to be vulnerable and face the truth as it was, eh? You wish he'd die an honest death, don't you, son? Well, Fuck's sake, that man, exclaimed the son. And so he began to cry. The wall was broken, finally. See, boy, life itself is an anomaly. So is everything. Nothing was meant to be understood, but rather felt. Indeed, we're all going to die. Some of us will die terrible deaths, and the rest happy ones. Some will live happy lives, and others will live unfortunate ones, whereby living is the worst thing they could have ever done. And even so, it all amounts to nothing. Life is inevitable, and there's nothing we can do. But even so, why then do we bother so much to try? Asked the pastor. Well, yeah, why try? Reiterated the man. Well, son, why not live having tried, than to die and not try at all? To live is to try. To die is not to, said Mark. I still don't understand, cried the boy. Listen here, son. Hoping is for the hopeless, and hopelessness is for those who once hoped. Even so, when hope dies, of what point is it to not hope as is to hope? Really, of what point is there in anything? Truth is, there is no point, and that's enough reason we need. There is no point in everything, and so why not try? Said the pastor. Many years later, the man was taking a walk at the park when eventually he saw a dog running in circles, trying to catch its tail. A young little girl ran up to the dog and called for her mother to look at this hilarious spectacle. The mother then ran up to her daughter and they both watched the dog, laughing. Mommy, Why is he doing that? Asked the girl. I don't know, sweetie. He's just a silly little dog. Ain't he just adorable? Responded the mother, giggling. But mommy, isn't he going to feel bad that he can't catch it? I feel bad. He'll be so tired, stressed the girl. Well, don't be, sweetie. At least he'll feel exhausted having tried, than to be tired and not try at all, said the mother, reassuring her inquisitive daughter. The girl looked to the dog for one last time and ran off laughing into the sunset. Her mom followed, and a wave of happiness filled the entire park as laughter echoed throughout the air. The man then closed his eyes and remembered his father's smile that day as he looked ahead to the mountains. I finally get it, he thought to himself. Tears fell from his eyes, but he couldn't help but smile. There's no point in anything, really. And that's enough reason we'll ever need, the man said.